Pod Chef. Pod Chef. You're listening to Pod Chef. When I say pod, y'all say chef. Pod Chef. You listening to Pod Chef. It's a podcast about Top Chef, and that's a broadcast. It's on TV, and you can watch it. They got 21 seasons, that's a lot, kid. But you can skip those. We do recaps about the whole show. Not the food, though, but the other stuff. Yeah. You're now listening to Pod Chef, the only official podcast about the TV show Top Chef, with your hosts, Jamal, Bryan, and Reaves. And I only said their first names because I don't know everyone's last name, and I'm trying to be polite. Now enjoy the show.
Welcome to Pod Chef. This is the official Top Chef podcast, even if other podcasts are getting former Top Chef contestants to be their hosts. This is still the official one.
We were here first.
Yeah, we were here first. It's kind of strange that you didn't reach out, that your people didn't contact my people. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm your host, Jamal. I'm here every week. And with me, as always, every week is my co-host, Reaves. Say what's up.
What's up, people? We don't need to get into it.
Don't need to get into it.
We got more important things to talk about on the official Top Chef podcast.
The official Top Chef podcast has so much to talk about. In fact, we're so official that we got specific emailed clips from Tom Colicchio himself this week. So if you're like in another podcast that, like, I don't know, likes to pack sharp things, and you thought that you had a big win because you got a new host who is a prominent chef in the Washington, D.C. area and open up a restaurant.
Yeah.
We'd really like you to come on the show. If you think that was a big win for you, did you get emails from Tom Colicchio saying, hey, guys? Yeah, that's right. He calls us guys. He says, hey, guys, that's how casual we are.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, buds. Hey, buddies. We had a couple of clips from the Daily Show I'd like you guys to talk about this week. Oh, Tom, did you reach out to the official Top Chef podcast? Because that's the kind of stuff we do.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you think that we're like, oh, it's kind of mean that you took a chef contestant from the show that we spend all our lives reviewing, from the area that we live in,
Yeah.
and made this individual the host of your show. If you thought that would get to us, no, it doesn't get to us because you know what? We're getting emails from Tommy C. Okay.
And I don't want to hear any excuse about, the person I was doing the podcast with, is stepping away, doesn't want to do it. We deal with that every week.
Yeah. Every week, one of us steps away and doesn't want to do the podcast. Okay.
We deal with it every week. That's not an excuse to not keep doing the podcast as a group.
Yeah,
All
no,
right?
You just do the best you can with the people that are there. It's like going to a regular season NBA game. You don't really know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's like maybe you get someone to get to watch, maybe not. Now you go to the playoffs.
You know they're going to be there.
They're going to be there. Okay.
Well, except for Kawhi, but everyone else
he's
will be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not an excuse that, you lost somebody and now you're like, let me swing for the fences and get someone from Top Chef who's a professional chef in the D.C. area there where the boys are at. Three best friends are at, and we'll get him on the show. That's not an excuse. You do the show by yourself then, and you do what I did. You do an exhaustive search through your friends who answered emails to come on the show and try and replace the third mic. That's what you do.
Yes.
And that's the problem with that other show, Saddlebags That Are Sharp. They don't have a third mic, and this is why you need a third mic, so you have someone to dump.
Yeah. Someone that you can say, hit the bricks, okay? You're really bringing us down with that sack of potatoes you're carrying around.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring someone new in, or you know what? It'll just be two of us for a while.
Yeah, it'll just be two of us for a while.
And that third person, it constantly changes. You get a whole different network of people all the time.
Yeah, you never know. So, yeah, but we don't have to talk about it because we got actually more important stuff to talk about. So let's talk about
who
this.
Cares that he taught me how to cook?
Yeah,
a couple times.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? It was like a anniversary thing, wedding thing. Who cares? So Tommy C, that's what we call him. He was on the Daily Show recently promoting his book, but Tommy C, like when he gets out there in real life, it becomes, it's like Twitter, it's going to get political.
Yeah. I mean, he can't keep himself away from hot topics.
Yeah.
And he decided that, oh, how do I get my voice out there, all my opinions? Let me go to the most relevant show right now, The Daily Show.
Yeah.
The show that's always has the most cutting edge humor and the one that everyone always watches. It's so cutting edge that it goes back in time and pulls people that used to be on the show and brings it back, because it's like, this is we're constantly going forward, but we're actually going back to go forward.
And where do you think they picked up the strategy of going back and asking people who were on the show before to come be a host or guest host when someone's out? Where do you think they picked that? Who did they learn that from? I wonder where I've seen that for almost 5 years.
Seen that sitcom before.
I wonder if Viacom will actually give us our flowers for stealing that entire host rotation bit that we literally made popular.
That's our thing.
So anyways, Tommy C. Yeah, that and the Tommy Mills. Tom is there, and he starts off real strong talking about cooking and comedy. And I remember now, he did send me a text message saying, what's some stuff I should talk about on this little show I'm going on? Had he told me the Daily Show, I wouldn't have given him half the things that I told him to say, but he didn't tell me that. He just said, I'm going on this little show. So what should I talk about? And I said, well, talk about like cooking and comedy and how they're like both toxic. So let's listen to it.
Like, I don't know enough about cooking at all, but with comedy, I feel like there is a certain amount of toxicity that you need to endure to get good at this, And so do you feel the same way with cooking, I guess, what would you say to all these woke sissies who are complaining about being mistreated in the kitchen? Like really, are you like, hey, like tough enough, or are you like, hey, something?
Not anymore. No, we don't do that anymore. No, we can't do that. No, things have changed. This when I was coming up, it was 40 years ago. It was a very different world that we lived in, and it was, there wasn't a whole lot of, in your face screaming and yelling, but it was a lot of hard, long hours, and there was a lot expected of you. But it wasn't the yelling and screaming that you think about. But the misogyny was obviously there. The sort of machismo, of the kitchen, you burnt yourself, that was a badge of honor. How many times you burnt your arms and things like that. And so, but I think a lot of that's going away.
Right.
Yeah, no one was yelling or screaming, but we did hate women, I think was... Yeah, well, of course. That was 40 years ago. Yeah, of course.
So that's my fault, because when he said, I jokingly said, what's this thing in your eyes? I'm just going on this little show. What should I talk about? I said, I don't know. Talk about misogyny. I didn't know what he didn't tell me what show he was going on. I just threw it out. I said, that's a problem. You should talk about that. And so he found a way to just shoehorn that in.
Put that in there through his rambling toxicity explanation from 40 years ago.
He also didn't answer the question. Do we need that or not? I need to know if I need to do that to get good at cooking.
And comedy.
And comedy.
Because apparently, I don't, and I'm really unplugged here, I don't know who is hosting The Daily Show right now, but that person apparently went through some tough times in comedy and got yelled at in a, green room or something a couple of times.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the green room, we all know, that's the kitchen of the comedy club.
Oh, hell yeah. That is the stew room. That's when you're cooking up, you're mixing with all the other culinary artists, comedy artists.
Yeah, when you're on stage, that's when you're actually serving the meal.
Yes, that is when the meal is being served. The green room is the kitchen.
Man, I miss my days cooking. Live cooking.
Getting yelled at.
Oh, speaking of yelling, that's actually our next clip.
Ooh.
He talks about yelling and what it means.
Again?
Also, I don't remember how long these clips were, so
no worries.
Let's play it.
as a Asian person who grew up in Singapore, Malaysia, I've been yelled at my whole life to where learning was being yelled at. And I asked the military guys about this in the U.S. I mean, small sample size, but one of the U.S. military guys said that when you're yelling, you've already lost control.
You lost them, exactly. You lost control.
Meaning you shouldn't be in that situation in the first place.
You don't have to be. I think it's a matter of 40 years ago, the chefs that were working in kitchens, they weren't able to communicate exactly what they were looking for. And so they were running around and screaming the whole day because they thought that was the way that you had to motivate people, because that's the way they were motivated. And it's somewhere along the lines, I mean, for me, and I think I mentioned this in the book.
Yeah, with Thomas Keller.
You know, well, that was different. That was more.
Don't interrupt you. You go.
Yeah, that was more psychological nonsense that he was playing. He played a lot of games. I mean, he's a great chef. But I just had an issue with the way he was talking to me. You know,
Okay, we got some insider information there. Tommy K and Tommy C.
Maybe
Had a
he
little
was the
beef.
first person to throw the sauce out. I don't know.
Now we know.
I do agree with the sentiment that if you're the first to yell, then you lose control. Happens to me all the time in traffic. You know, when I pull out in a red light, one way, turn left. Someone rolls down the window, screams at me, "You could have killed me." I just, you know,
Lose your mind.
smile, blow him a kiss. Sometimes I give him an
screaming
okay.
You're screaming inside.
Oh yeah, I'm screaming inside,
Yeah.
but I know like I got the power.
Yeah, you have to stop,
Mhm.
or it's an accident. That's good.
I
This
think
next
that's
clip-
also what happened on 9/11
Yeah.
because they were screaming so much in the plane. People were like, "Don't worry,
They lost control.
they've lost control. We'll be fine."
And if you're screaming, you've lost control.
Yeah.
Gotta maintain sensibilities at all times. I mean, we've gone through so much training for, what do they say? Emergency, don't panic. What do people do? They panic.
Yeah.
Immediately. It's like, come on, follow the signs. All right. Speaking of panicking, let's hear Tommy C's take on The Bear season 3 and the panic of how not very many people apparently liked it. Let's listen.
You know, I promised myself at a certain point, if I got a restaurant, that I wasn't going to sort of, the things that the way I was treated, I was going to break that. I was going to do something different. And you know, did I lose my temper at times? Absolutely. But nowadays you kind of walk away. Before you lose your temper, you walk away.
Okay. No, I'm genuinely interested in this because you're arguably the most respected chef in America. If you're saying that, hey, we don't need to be yelling in kitchens, then I guess everything that's happening in The Bear is completely unnecessary because those guys. Yo, what's going on? What are you guys doing?
That's a joke too.
I don't know, but I don't know if you saw the third season. There wasn't a whole lot of yelling in the third season, and it wasn't that good. Right?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's something I can't speak to, but you speak to the kitchen.
Well,
I think there's a lot of people who think that the
I mean, I
third
don't want to
season was
lose on
okay,
roll.
Well, I'm not gonna.
slower.
That's what he says. He says, "Yeah, I still want to be invited for a guest role, so I won't say that." Yeah. So you keep asking, are these jokes? So comedy today has changed, Reaves. It's not so much about setup, punchline, joke. It's now just, did he say something honest? Did he tell a story?
Well, was it just that he referenced something that people knew? Because it was.
That's
I mean,
comedy.
like, I'm
That's
not trying to
comedy.
be an asshole. It wasn't a joke, right?
No,
It wasn't intended to be a joke, or was it?
I think it was intended to be a joke, as in, like, there wasn't a lot of yelling in the third season, so
Oh,
maybe they're doing the show wrong. But I don't know if that's a joke or an observation.
yeah, that's just an observation. So,
But it was such a funny, clever observation.
well,
Reaves.
maybe something's wrong with this audience, and maybe the problem is they all need to be yelled at to learn how to be an audience, right? And maybe there needs to be
There
more
we go.
toxicity towards hosts and audiences, so they know when they should be laughing and not. Because they also laughed at just him saying where he was from,
Yeah.
which feels wrong to me, actually.
Well, yeah, you can't laugh at an Asian person telling you where they're from. Not
No.
anymore.
40
And
years
since
ago.
we're talking about politics, let's listen to this next clip about politics.
Waste, which is another big problem.
That's a bad thing, and it's a good place to start.
It's a good place to start.
That. Okay,
Right.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I think if they started teaching home economics in school again, that would be great.
Okay,
That would really be great.
Did they stop doing that?
No. In fact, you're going to get rid of the whole education system nowadays.
now
so
we
it's all
got
good.
no education. So
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
So nothing matters anyway. I guess everyone's gonna be dumb and unhealthy.
Exactly. Yeah.
In how long do you think? 4 years? We have over 4 years before. I mean,
Politics. Oh, good. I mean, if Bryan was here. Also, have you checked? Is there Bryan here?
It's Bryan. Oh, hey, Bryan, you want to say hello to the people?
I guess he's not here.
I guess not.
Bryan would have loved that because that's politics, and Bryan loves politics. And
Yeah.
So,
He
taking
famously
some
gets
jabs at-
hives. Yeah.
Yeah. So, apparently the education system's going away, which this is news to me. This is news to me because I went to Khan Academy.
I have a question for you. What is he promoting here? His book?
Yeah.
Okay.
His book about.
And I mean, I knew that he had a book. We've all
Yeah.
heard pages from it, things like that.
Yeah, we've helped actually write pages of it. So. His book is as all over the place as this interview. Have you read it?
No. Is it?
It's a page turner because the pages aren't in order.
He's always one step ahead of everyone else.
You
know what that is? It's like someone was like explaining to him when he was running through the contract. He's like, I'm gonna make this much money, and then he saw all the like fees that were taken out, and he's like, wait, what does this person do? Yeah. Well, they're going to organize the books for you. I can do that shit myself.
I could do that myself.
I'm not gonna pay someone. What? Look, every single book, I lose $5 on it for someone to put the pages together. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
In his basement, piles of pages everywhere. Sunday morning, trying to put books together.
Yeah. So he has some kind of system. It does make you turn the pages. So if you're trying to read it like front and back, just left to right, that's not how he does his books. So they're more like you read Japanese manga.
Yeah.
So start at the back and read right to left, but then skip some pages of advertisements, and then you should be good to go.
Okay. All right.
So,
well, keep that in mind when I pick it up.
We got one more clip, and this is Tom trying to advocate for cooking at home.
Your own communities, and it starts at home. It really does. If you want better food at home, learn how to cook. And you don't have to learn how to cook fancy food. You have to just learn the basics.
What is happening?
Learn the basics
Why are
so
they
you can actually
clapping?
cook for your family. And that's sustainable because you're buying produce that is sustainable. You're not relying on food that's over processed with too much sugar, too much salt, too much fat in it, and you're going to end up with a healthy America too. And so yeah, but it's a complex problem because our system isn't set up to actually get fresh food to the masses.
So they were talking about people being overweight before that in that interview.
So is that why they applauded when he was like, just cook at home? And
Basically.
people decided to applaud? Which, I mean, listen, that's been an option since as long as I can remember.
Forever.
I don't remember hearing someone, when my wife and I talk about what we're going to have for dinner, and we say whether or not we're going to go out, and we decide, oh, you know what, I'm going to cook something.
Yeah.
She doesn't applaud me.
Maybe she should.
She doesn't applaud the decision because it's just an option to eat.
Yeah, it's an option. It's always been an option. But I think they're clapping because they just realized, oh, we could be doing that too.
He's right. We could. I forgot all about that.
So that's also how comedy's working now. You just give good advice, people clap and laugh. Seen so many comics go up there and be like, man, gotta check that oil light. Got to check that oil light.
Yes.
Yeah. When that oil light comes on, you gotta go to a mechanic, dog.
Yes. Mechanic. Now I know.
Mechanics. So that's comedy now.
Well, that's nice. You don't have to write jokes anymore. I'm glad. I mean, writing jokes are very hard, so I get it.
Mm-hmm. We haven't been allowed back in the writer's room for a while. So.
No, we haven't because it burned. And maybe this is what's going on, right? Our writer's room burned down,
and so that's
and
why
now
comedy's dying.
on the Daily Show they don't write jokes anymore. I'm sure it's very funny. I'm happy for Tom that he wrote a book. I'm happy that he is celebrating it and going on a book tour. Mm-hmm. I'll just say that, as producer of this show, he always has an open door to come on this show and promote his book.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying, but let's say it again. Yeah, as another producer of the show, the door is always open, Tommy C, to come on the show. Let people actually understand that we know each other. You've hired us to do this for you, to catalog Top Chef for you. You're welcome whenever you want to come on. You do not have to wear a do-rag. I don't know why you keep emailing me that, but you don't have to do that at all.
The
I
emails
prefer
you,
if did.
do I have to wear a do-rag? And you're always like, stop asking me.
Yes, yeah. I was like, this is almost like eating at home. It's never been an option for you to wear a do-rag. I don't know why you're trying to make it an option. So, yeah, you just come on as you are, wear one of your big hats, whatever you do on a podcast. We could shoot the shit. We could finally get to the bottom of a real report card from Tom.
Yeah. Well, speaking of what you just mentioned, was he wearing a hat in the interview?
He was not.
He was not.
He was not. He was glistening off the lights, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Going all natural.
All
That's
natural.
very not like him these days. He's a
No.
hat man.
Hat man.
So I think the takeaway from this for us is we will get a copy of his book and we will start reading pages of it on the podcast.
Yes. That's obvious.
In lieu of him. Because, I mean, that's what we typically are, a vessel for him, and we are his propaganda machine.
Yes.
Politics. So we might as well just start doing that. So it's good to know.
So, Bryan, you can get started on that. That's good third mic duty. If you could let us read first half of the book and really give us a synopsis next week, that'd be great. Let's talk about Chefs I Prepared for You. This is a segment we do every week where we talk about what we had for dinner last night and only last night. And we present it as if we're presenting it to the judges on Top Chef. There will be a winner. They'll be picked at the end. Voting is dead. Trust me. That was the last election.
Mm-hmm. Then we don't have to talk about it anymore.
We don't have to talk about it anymore. I will go first. Chefs, I didn't procure this, but it was made. I didn't prepare it. I ate at someone else's house.
Ooh.
Yeah, chefs, what's the word we can use here? Chefs, I consumed for you.
Yes, I like that.
Chefs, I consumed for you. Baked macaroni and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken wings.
Oh.
Chicken wings. And I'm forgetting. I was like beef roast or some kind of brisket as well.
Brisket, man.
Yeah. And then a bunch of chocolate chipment cookies and chai little muffin bites.
Ooh.
Cupcakes, little mini cupcakes, and chocolate bark.
Wow.
And
it keeps going.
3 glasses of punch with one shot of tequila in each one.
Damn, dude. You
there it is.
Went to a holiday party. I can taste it.
You know.
All right.
I like to make my plate be a theme of whatever party I'm at, so.
I don't know if I could decipher what the theme of that party is, but I mean, I knew it was holiday.
No, holiday party, right? So I just,
the mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, the mint chocolate chip, the decorated chocolate bark and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Little fudge brownie chocolate bark.
Now, that was a lot. Did you, God bless you, that was not because of the sneeze. I just felt like telling you, God bless you for what you ate.
Thank you.
Did you pile everything on the plate? Is that one round, or this is over the course of an evening?
No, that was one round because I only got one plate. That was one round.
Did people look over at you?
I was in the front of the line. I was. You know that moment when you're at a group function and they're like, "All right," they say food's ready, and like people are like, "I won't go first."
Yeah, people were kind of looking around.
First. I'm the person who's like, I will absolutely go first. I would love to go first before everyone else gets their freaking paws and sweaty hands over here.
That's being proactive. That's the kind of person that, as a host, I want you coming to my parties.
Exactly.
Because I hate when people are timid. When I'm like, food's ready, and people are kind of like looking around.
Not me.
Yeah, I'm like, get your fucking asses over here. Put food on your plate and sit down. I want to
And eat
get
it.
you out of my house as fast as possible. The longer you wait to put food on your plate, the longer you're here.
Yeah. That's why I rush. Every time I'm at your place and I eat, I run to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good guest.
So when people anywhere, people say food's ready, I'm not the person who's like waiting, looking left and right. Ooh, who's gonna start this thing off? You know, the guy who always makes that fucking joke that I can't stand at work.
Yeah, Tom Click.
I'm the person who just walks up and goes, "They said the food's ready, so I'm getting a plate and eating because I'm hungry."
Mm-hmm.
So
Here's another. I appreciate that a lot. Here's another thing I appreciate about it: the quantity of food that you got was appropriate for someone going somewhere who was hungry boy and was being given free food.
Yeah.
Another thing I don't like about these people that go to parties. You look at their plate, they got a couple 4 bites of something.
Yeah.
Get out of
It's
here. You're going to be hungry.
Like, are you rationing food in World War II? Like,
Yeah.
fill at your plate. That's why the food was made.
Look at these casserole dishes, and it's like each one has like 1 bite left on it.
Yeah.
Someone just take it. Okay?
Take it. Stop being polite. You know what I love? I love when I get a look from someone when I go back and get a second scoop of mac and cheese. Put it on my. I love the look of like, really? I go, yes. I'm making sure the food's gonna be gone. Yes, I got more. Yes. So, I love that.
That sounds.
I will eat my share.
What was the best thing of those that you had?
It was the mac and cheese. It was very good. It was actually, you know what? It's a tie between that and the brisket. I don't know if it was a roast or a brisket traditionally, but it was very succulent, tender beef. But it was very good. So it was probably a tie. Okay. But they paired well, phenomenally.
Oh yeah, mac and cheese and brisket. They're like peanut butter and jelly, baby.
Yeah.
Now, was this a potluck or did the host make all of these things?
The host made all this.
Okay. Well, we don't need to reveal who this person is or individuals.
No.
Here.
But I could. And they'd never hear it because they don't listen to the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Good friends, though. Good friends.
Good friends.
Close friends.
Chefs, I attempted to procure for you ramen noodles.
Now I'm already on edge because you said attempted. So I feel like there's a story coming.
From, I think it's Genia ramen noodles.
You can't say that. It's called Virginia. So I can't believe you said that like that. You can get ramen in Virginia. I don't know why you said it like that. No, was that a
Where
joke?
are you from?
If there's an
that does feel like a joke. Yeah.
If the
You
audience
had
was
to
here,
think?
would they laugh at that or would they be like, "What is he doing?" What was that?
I think they would be confused. You get some emails later. So my wife looked at me and said, "It's a ramen time." I said, "Of course it is, babe." Ordered it. She said, "You will be going to pick it up because it is cheaper." She is right. It is much cheaper to go pick it up.
Much cheaper. It's like $20 cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the prices these days, they're out of control. So we both got here. Well, forget it. We both got a ramen dish. I go to the restaurant. I walk up to the hostess, as you do, and said, "Please give me my food. I am ready for my food now." She said, "1 minute,
Last
please."
name?
Yeah. I'm helping another customer, please.
Yeah.
There is a line. I said, "I'm so sorry." And I joined the line. Eventually, they got back up to me. She said, "And what is your name?" I said, "It's Reaves." She went and turned around. There was 2 bags behind her. She looked at one, not it. Looked at the other one, not it. Went back to the first one, not it. Second one, not it.
They often do change when you do that. So
Yeah.
I can understand her to go back to look at the bag she just looked at because sometimes they do change.
In between you looking to one side, someone else might have taken and replaced.
And put a new bag there. Yeah.
Just in case. Wait. Let me just check to make sure this is not a different bag than before.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's the same bag. She's like, can I see your phone? And I was like,
That's never a good
I was
sign.
like, huh? She's like,
That's
I just
never a
need to
good sign.
see the name. I was like, do you want me to spell my name? And she said, yes, please. So I spelled my name. No big
Mhm.
deal. I know how to do it.
No, but you know how to do it.
That's easy as hell. I can spell my
You
name. I'm not going to do it
never
now,
misspell it. Yeah,
but I could do it.
you could.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot.
Turned back around, looked at those 2 bags.
Because they could have changed again.
They could have
They
changed.
Turn around. Yeah.
Turned back to me. 1 minute, sir.
1 minute, sir.
I see her walk.
To the
The
back.
restaurant's relatively empty at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She walks over. She's talking to a colleague. They're kind of like
Mhm.
close, heads to heads, kind of whispering. See them kind of peer back and both look at me.
You.
They see that I'm looking at them. They quickly turn away again.
Uh-huh.
They go to a computer screen of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
They start. It's a touch screen. They start swiping
Touching
through
all
shit.
over. Yeah.
Swiping
all
through,
it.
swiping
Yep.
through.
They're on Tinder on their restaurant machine.
And then I feel a warm hand on my shoulder.
Jesus.
Jesus?
Your order is not here, my son.
Turn around. It's the manager.
Of course.
He said, "Sir, can I help you?" And I said, "I hope so." I
Okay,
really, at
first
this
of all-
point, I hope so.
First of all, I'm so glad that you're finally experiencing what I experienced. Walk in a place, it's a warm hand on my back. Sir, can I help you? I'm just shopping. You better be.
Let's head outside, sir.
Yeah.
Walks you out, locks the door behind him.
Locks the door. Starts playing my kryptonite. Closing time. I have to leave now.
I say, "Yeah, well, someone's already helping me. They're looking for my order." And he was like, "Well, I can look for your order." And I was like,
looks at
"You
the
know
bags?
what? Fine."
Don't tell me he looks at the bags. Don't tell me he looks at the bags.
He said, "Sir, I at this point, I'm like, listen, as many people as I can have working for me in this situation, I feel like the better." He says, "Sir, what is your name?" I give him my name. I spell it. He does go to those bags. He's like, "They're not here." He turns to me. He says, "Are you sure you ordered here?" And now here is where things get real wild.
Okay.
I start to question my own choices.
Yeah. This is how
Did I
gaslighting
actually
goes.
order something?
Yeah. This is how gaslighting works.
Yeah. Am I being gaslit? Is reality different to me than what it
Yeah.
is to everyone else in the world? So I look down at my phone. And I'm like, no, it says the ramen place. I know I'm right.
You're in Virginia.
But
You want ramen.
yeah. Interesting you mentioned Virginia. My analytical mind starts kicking in and says, maybe I should check which restaurant I selected to pick up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I look at the address, and the only part that I just noticed first is that it is the restaurant that I ordered from is in Northeast,
Mm-hmm.
and I know for a fact I am in Northwest right now.
You sure are.
And I go, so this is the part, if it was a movie,
Mhm.
it would zoom in on my face as I look up, kind of a little stun, freeze
Mhm.
frame, and then voiceover
Voiceover.
narrative would hit.
Yeah. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. And I had a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Do I tell them I'm aware of my mistake that I've made? Or do I
Or-
just keep this charade going because I got a couple of, pots
Hey, you got
burning right
a
now.
team going.
I
You
got
got
a
a
team
team working
working.
on it. Yeah.
I got a team working for me. Do I pull the plug on this project?
Yeah.
I decide not to acknowledge that I'm
Smart.
aware
Smart.
that it's the
Smart.
wrong address. I say,
Customer's always right.
let's see how this plays out. Because I can foresee a scenario where I am getting food from the place that I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
and that they maybe have been gaslit by me into thinking that they
Yeah.
just didn't see the order and it did
Reverse
exist.
gaslit. Yeah.
Yes, so it's just a lot back and forth.
Good thing you didn't hand over that phone in the beginning.
In the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
Now they get a fifth person or fourth at this point to help them.
Perfect.
Someone from the back. She comes out. I can tell she's with it. She's about to really lay into me. She starts looking through all the bags. She goes through those 2 bags as well. She's got a touch screen. She says, "Can I see your phone, sir? May I please see your phone?" And there was a part of me that wanted to say, "Can I see your phone?" Or something to the effect of, "No, that's illegal to ask me for that."
Yeah.
I know my rights.
Yeah.
What are we in international waters here? I know my rights. You can't take my
Because you
phone
know
from me.
what's coming next if you hand over the phone.
Yeah. And I just went, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, take a look at it."
Okay.
And it's just like, I'm sweating. I'm like, I hope she doesn't scan down to where the address is. And she does. And she's like, "This is not the right address." And so
instantly.
As she starts to say, "You need to go to," I'm like, "I'm not going there," is what I said.
Nice.
I said, "I cannot go there."
The food's so cold now.
I'm like, it's too far away. It's cold. I can't go there. I have a family I have to feed.
I have a family I have to
Can
feed.
you do
Can you
something?
make it here?
And then they told me, "This is what we will do for you, sir. You can call them and cancel the order, or call them and have them transfer it here, and we will make it for you here." And I mean, this story's been going on long enough, but there's a whole nother side to it where I got on the phone with the other place. They thought I was out of my fucking mind. And I ended up just canceling the order through Uber. Told my wife, she's heartbroken. And then I'm like,
no
should I
food.
just go to Whole Foods and get some stuff? We know how much I love Whole Foods. I do that. I get us some sushi. We ate sushi.
There you go.
There you go. Story over.
So it was really chefs I procured sushi.
Yes.
Okay. Whole Foods sushi is pretty good, right? I don't know. I've never had it, but it's
I haven't gotten sick, and I'm usually
there you go.
not a big grocery sushi person, but yeah, I haven't gotten sick from it. So,
well, and ordering sushi from grocery store can be high stakes.
we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Pod Chef.
Whoa. We're in another dimension now. We went out and back in and out and back in.
Accidentally hit a wrong button there. Bryan won't edit that out, by the way. He will not edit this part
No,
out,
keep it in. I think it's unique.
All right. It's season 9, episode 6, Higher Stakes. It's time. By the way, Reaves won. If that wasn't clear from the story, Reaves won. The chefs I prepared for you. Reaves, you want to talk us through Higher Stakes?
Of course. Now, this is Higher Stakes, season 9, episode 6, 127th episode overall. Its original air date is December 7th, 2011. So we're kind of in the network of the actual time. And then 1.70 million people viewed this episode. Of course, this is in Dallas / Fort Worth, Texas season. We open on the chefs back at the hotel. They're debriefing the loss of their friend Chewy.
He's in the Last Chance Kitchen.
Yeah, have you guys talked about that yet?
Nope.
Should we address that? I do not know. It's not on Peacock.
Yeah, I don't know how we watch it, so I just have been going off of the little advertisements they do at the end of the episode.
Yeah. So you know what? Write in if you guys know there's a way we can watch it.
Yeah.
We'll watch it, but otherwise we're not going to do it.
Yeah. Tom seems to have put all of those behind a paywall on his Patreon somewhere, I think. So,
yeah. So, if anyone signs up for Tom's OnlyFans and has access to it, just send us a password or something.
Last Chance subscription. That's what he calls it.
So Ed is like, there's more gals than guys left. And that's, at this time, 2011, he's like, that's fucked up.
That's messed up, dude.
He's
That's
like,
anti-men.
That's anti-men. And he was like, and we as men, we got to nut up and we got to start winning.
Got to start winning. Can't be outdone by these women.
Yeah, I feel like the women are better this season than the men.
Oh.
So next day in the kitchen in Dallas, the
Yeehaw.
chefs arrive, and of course, there's our lovely Padma and guest chef judge Dean Fearing, who
I don't like instantly. If I'm being honest.
just the look or how he behaved.
We'll get into it in the quick fire challenge, but he said something that is just wrong about mother sauces, about one of the mother sauces in the quick fire challenge, and it like blew my mind that he would say that.
This guy, and he's all about the sauces.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get to it. The quick fire challenge here. The chefs are given 90 minutes to prepare a dish that incorporates their own interpretation of the 5 mother sauces. The winner obviously receives immunity, and of course, the chefs draw knives to see what sauce they have.
Yeah.
Now, let's name those sauces.
I can do it.
Can you do it from memory?
Yeah, this is actually weird because earlier this week, I watched another YouTube video about mother sauces.
Holy
So
shit.
it was kind of strange that this episode was the quick fires about mother sauces. But yeah, without even looking, I'm not even looking. I'm looking.
He's not looking at anything right now. I can confirm.
Hollandaise, which
Yes.
is the one I usually forget.
1.
Bechamel.
Yep.
Veloute, Espanol, and sauce tomate or tomato sauce.
Yeah, you're right.
My favorite one. Can you guess?
Hollandaise.
No, I hate that one actually.
Yeah, it's pretty gross, right?
I hate that one.
Yeah,
My
it's a little
favorite
too
one is
creamy.
bechamel.
Here's my question about these.
Mm-hmm.
What
I can
is
answer
they?
this. Oh, let's talk about it because I watched the video multiple times this week.
Let's hear
The
about it.
5 mother sauces. They're not technically sauces in and of themselves. They are the base for sauces.
Oh, okay.
So bechamel is the only sauce that is made without a stock, right? There's no stock incorporated in it outside of a tomate. But like bechamel, when it comes to bechamel or veloute or espagnole and a hollandaise, they add a stock to them, but not a bechamel. Bechamel adds milk,
Huh.
right?
Okay.
So that one starts with the roux. There is no the roux in the veloute and the espagnole and the hollandaise. Is a mixture for the hollandaise. It's something else, but it's for the veloute and the espagnole. It is stock. You add either chicken or beef stock, depending on what kind of sauce you want to make from it. But that's the difference between the bechamel and the other two. And then the hollandaise. This is the part that bothered me in the show. One of the parts that bothered me. He kept asking people, "Did you use clarified butter?"
Yes. One of 2 questions he asked.
Yes, he kept asking people who had hollandaise, "Did you use clarified butter?" Yes, technically, it is a guideline, not a hard and fast rule, to use clarified butter and not the milk solids in the butter to whip up the hollandaise, right, base.
Sure.
But, and I agree with the chef I was watching make mother sauces this week, why would you leave all of that flavor out of the sauce? Why would you leave the milk fat out of the sauce? That's so much flavor. When has anyone ever said, "I'm sorry, I need to return this hollandaise. It has less flavor"? So I wasn't a fan of him asking the chefs that as he was going around tasting their meal. "Did you use clarified butter?" No. They use the milk solids as well because it tastes better. Ding dong. And the other part that bothered me is when he went up to what's her name, Whitney, and said, "What kind of sauce did you have?" And she said, "Sauce tomate." Well, she said tomato. And he said, "Did you make a roux with it?"
Oh, that's a second
Motherfucker.
question.
Motherfucker. Who uses a roux in a tomato sauce? Who's putting milk and flour in there and butter in a tomato sauce? He literally said traditional roux. Traditional tomato sauce has a roux. Where?
What tradition? What
Which
planet?
tradition? Where?
Here's
I've
what I think
never
happened.
seen it.
A producer, talked to him beforehand, was like, "You feel good? You excited?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm so excited. Can't believe it." And she was like, this is just she. She's like, "So what kind of things are you going to ask? Are you going to look for in your judging?" He was like, "I don't understand. I don't know what you're talking about." And she was like, "Okay, here is a suggestion. Come up with some questions or have 2 things that are your things."
Yeah,
was
that
like,
you're gonna
"Okay."
ask everyone.
Yeah,
And we'll
yeah.
cut around it.
He was like, "Okay." He's like,
Oh,
clarified
shit.
butter. Roux.
I know there's a
Okay.
roux, so I'll just ask a roux a bunch.
Ask about that. Sometimes I just ate a whole stick of clarified butter. Maybe I'll ask about that. Okay. Clarified butter roux. No matter what, I'll ask about those. Okay, good. I have to make sure everyone knows that I am not the one who's afraid. Just because my last name is Fearing, I am not afraid to be here.
Yeah. Wonder if they're gonna ask me about cooking the hollandaise over boiling water instead of in the pot directly. I wonder if they'll say that. Should I bring that up? I don't even remember what the technical term for that is called. I know when I hear it, but I don't. Nah, I'll just leave that alone. I'll just ask about the clarified butter.
Oh no, they're all looking at me.
They're all looking at. How long have I been talking to myself?
Oh no.
Did they yell action? I don't remember if they yelled action.
Tom looks pissed. Why is he behind the camera?
Cut. Oh, thank God that saved me. So yeah, those are the sauces.
That's great. See?
Those are, and they always so they start as a bechamel, but when you add something to it, it gets a new name. So like you add cheese, it becomes something else. You add like onions, diced onions, and then strain them out. It's a different kind of sauce.
Okay,
so it's like,
and that's
the
essentially what
base.
happens here. Is
Yeah.
they make the base and then they add things and they put it on a dish of some kind. So you have people that had like some fish or something, some vegetables. They put these sauces on. A lot of people are like, I haven't made this since I was in chef school,
Culinary school.
yeah, culinary school. So testing their knowledge. We did get into some of the judging from Chef Fearing here. Paul did a quail. Put is it pronounced Espanol?
It's pronounced espagnol.
Espagnol.
You kind of hit the everyone says
Espagnol.
it differently, obviously, but the one I heard is like espagnole.
Yeah. But he did a quail. They seem to like it a lot. I mean, Paul in general does very well. People also, again, hitting the same games over and over again, hate Beverly. They talk about how she cooks the same food, but, she knows her background. She likes to cook what she likes to cook. On the top here, we have Grayson. She did a ravioli, which is pretty impressive in 90 minutes to make a whole ravioli. We got Chris C. He changed the velouté by adding some different liquids. And then Paul with his quail. And on the bottom...
Velouté,
go ahead.
Velouté, by the way, is derived from the French word velvet.
Wow.
Or velour, which is what the sauce is supposed to look like when you make the base. It's supposed to look very velvety.
And you just learned that of your own volition. It had nothing to do with this episode, huh?
Mm-mm. I was just watching cooking stuff this week, and Mother Sauces was up next on the playlist.
Hell yeah. See, this podcast is educational.
Freaking so educational.
You guys pack your knives and go. They got to get on the actual chef on their podcast to bring that education. Well, we actually watch YouTube videos and tell you about it. So there.
We're the common person trying to relate to the other. Well, the people who listen to the show aren't very common, but you know what I'm saying. The more commoner person.
Yes.
They're very.
We're the people.
Hoity-toity.
Yeah. We're not elitist.
Yeah.
We're the
we
people.
didn't get Buddha Low on our show to talk statistics,
Yeah, right.
Of how many quick fires he fucking won. No one cared.
No one cared. We got Dale on the show to listen to us read him the Top Chef movie.
That's right. And he loved it.
And he freaking liked it. The winner here is Grayson. She did a scallop, charred corn sauce, and the ravioli. So good job, Grayson.
Good job, Grayson.
We jump right into our elimination challenge here. The chefs have to work as a team, which is really always bad news in general in Top Chef, but especially this season. These people do not like each other.
Chefs don't like teamwork, really, unless they're in charge.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole problem here is like who's in charge. We talked
about Tom earlier. They got to yell.
You got to yell. You got to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
There is some misogyny that happens, but that was a long time ago. We know that's wrong. So the chefs work as a team to cater a 4-course steak dinner. For 200 people at the annual.
200 cowpoke.
200 cowfolk at the annual Cattle Barons Ball.
Yeah.
Now, I know the listeners are going nuts right now. Holy shit. The Cattle Barons Ball. That's from the show Dallas. We all know that.
Well, someone doesn't. Should we find out who doesn't?
Yep, let's listen.
To menu plan together now. Tonight, you'll have 3 hours to prep here. And tomorrow, you'll have 3 hours to cook and prep before service begins at South Fork Ranch. You knew it was coming sometime.
Yeah. We were a dynasty family. We didn't watch Dallas. Some of my friends did. I can't remember who shot JR. Was it his wife? Was it Sue Ellen? Or was it a mistress? I'm going to need somebody to look that up on their Google machine.
Now, if Bryan was here, I feel like he would, one, like that clip.
Yes.
Because they said Google machine. But also, I think this person is like makes him feel like he's at home with people from Assateague, you know?
People
Chinky
that
deep.
watch Dynasty
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His kind of people.
She spoiled Dallas or attempted to.
Yeah. I can't. I was like, shot JR. Well, I have no need to go watch that episode then, I guess.
Yeah,
Jeez
well, I
Louise.
guess I'll take that off my list.
Won't invest in that storyline. I already know he gets shot.
Thanks a lot, Heather.
You think people would be invested if... No, I'm not going to say it because Brian's not going to edit the podcast. Never mind.
So 2 of the courses here have to contain steak. And the real prize, other than bragging rights, is the winner receives a 2011 Toyota.
Oof.
Finta.
Tags, title, and taxes not included.
Not included. Actually doubled.
Actually doubled.
And there is a couple of collections on this car as well.
So you're going to need to pay that too. Or you're going to need to keep moving it around.
So the chefs start planning. They got 30 minutes, and they split up into the following groups. So you got first course, that's Beverly, Dakota, Sarah, which they're doing a soup. Second course, appetizer, Chris J, Ed, Paul. Third course, entree, Chris C, Naisha, Tylor, Whitney. Fourth course, dessert, Grayson, Heather, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Heather says, hey, if something isn't broke, why would you need to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the same recipe that is Ed's recipe again for this challenge for my dessert.
And Ed immediately says,
That's my recipe.
at some point in time, you're going to have to cook something.
Yeah. It's like, I guess you're going to have to cook something at some point.
At some point, you're going to actually have to do some cooking here on Top Chef. Which kind of reminds me of the Dr. Malcolm at Jurassic Park when they're doing the tour, and he goes, "Now you are going to have dinosaurs on your."
Yes, you do. You plan on having some dinosaurs. I used to have a Goldblum. I got to work on it.
Yeah,
on this
your
dinosaur
dino
tour.
Which that's what Ed made me think of when he did that. I was like, okay. I really hate that man.
I really hate that man. Oh man, what a good movie! I got to get better on my Goldblum. Everyone has a Goldblum, but I don't seem to have one. So the chefs run to the grocery store. They got 45 minutes to grab ingredients. Someone throws a bottle on the ground and breaks it and runs away.
Kids.
Whitney is planning on making a potato gratin.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows this recipe by heart. She's been carrying it all over for her mother. And we know she's in trouble because she's telling us this.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's either going to work out really well for her or it's going to be real bad.
Terrible. As soon as anyone else goes, I'm worried about time for Whitney's dish. Trouble.
You're in trouble. Back at the kitchen, the chefs have 3 hours. So there's a lot of time that we have here to start their prepping. Beverly has one thing to work on. And it's her shrimp. That's all she plans on working on. She's not going to do anything else. She's only going to work on her shrimp. She wants her dish or her part of the dish to be good.
Be fantastic.
Heather is very pissed about this.
Heather, the person who's making someone else's recipe, is
Yes.
upset that someone else would be spending. Why are you spending so much time on this dish that you actually are making from scratch? Why aren't you just stealing someone else's dish? Oh, I'm so annoyed.
Heather's like, my dish is so easy that I'm opening tables and setting up chairs instead of cooking.
And like Padma and them didn't even ask me to do that.
They told me that there was staff to do it, but I did it myself because I'm taking
did it
charge.
myself.
Heather cannot. She really does not like Beverly. She can't let it go.
Nope, she can't. But I think she's called out accurately for being a bully, and she is.
Yes. So she is by Dakota later. Dakota is like, Heather is a bully. She's really mean. I don't know why she acts towards people that way.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you don't see anyone, at least in this episode, really calling her out about that kind of behavior because I think she's kind of doing it behind people's back. At this point, Tylor stabs himself when he's trying to cut through some bone marrow.
Well, he was trying to be fancy and go fast.
Yeah, I was trying to go
But
fast.
what do we say in the kitchen, everyone? Slower is actually faster.
Yeah.
Slower with no mistakes is faster.
I have that in a printed
German,
out. Yeah.
Printed German. Yeah. Above your stove. Nick Hein.
He tells
Zig Stigler.
He doesn't edit this podcast. So he's like, you see him talking to the medic, and he's like, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to take me out. You're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to go back to work. That's what's going to happen. And then what happens after that is he goes and sits in the hospital for 6 hours. Very relatable. This is a very real hospital experience.
Yeah.
You go to the hospital anytime after, 9 a.m., you're there for at least 48 hours.
And ER?
Yeah.
You went to the ER?
You're not getting seen, friend. You're bleeding out in the waiting
You're
room.
bleeding out. They're literally, and it's right, they're prioritizing. I was in there with people who had gunshot victims, so I was low on the totem pole. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they made the right choice.
Hey, notice how at no point in time in that 6 hours did you think to go buy a gun and shoot yourself? To speed up the process.
People are worried about Whitney's approach to the potatoes. They're like, you should bake these ahead of time.
Yeah.
Don't do it the day of. And she's like, no, I don't have time.
I got plenty of time.
I have plenty of time tomorrow. I don't have time anymore to do it. So she's in the weeds.
Oh, yeah.
We arrive the next day. Tylor returns from the hospital. The chefs are at the event. They have 3 hours to cook. So again, 3 hours of prep, 3 hours to cook. This is 6 hours overall of cook. This is plenty of time to put together a good dish.
I mean, the person who goes home deserves it considering how much time they've had. It doesn't even take 3 hours really to prep and almost finish cooking in 3 hours of potato gratin.
This is what was it just the scale that threw her off, the amount that she had to make that was difficult? I don't understand why it was so hard. Because it's 6 hours. Tom really loses his mind this episode.
Yeah.
But 6 hours
We'll
is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of him, the Tomcat walks into the kitchen.
Finally.
He talks to Dakota, and you know what she tells him? The first thing he asks, he's like, "You leaving skin on your peppers?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." It's like, all right, we'll just see how this whole shit show goes, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Would you leave skin on a... And I can't say that because Bryan doesn't edit the podcast.
Yeah. So they open the gates, and in come the cowboys, striding their way to their tables.
Yeehaw.
It is so hot outside. Tylor is the steak master. He's got a wet washcloth wrapped around his head to try and keep him cool because it's too hot, and he's got a bunch of barbecues around him.
But it's also like raining water over his eyes. He can barely see what he's cooking.
Yeah. The judges are all here. So here's the dishes. We have a summer gazpacho with tomato and watermelon. Seasoned fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Second course, seared New York steak carpaccio. There's no real point of view here. This is where you can kind of see Tom's getting annoyed. He's like, "What?
Yeah.
What is this?" He's like throwing
A
around the
soup and
vegetables
an
on top of it.
appetizer? What is it?
He's like, "There's no point of view. This is boring." Next course, third course, grilled ribeye with the creamy potato gratin. This is a mess. And this is where things get real dirty because the potatoes are disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
They're raw.
They're raw. Shocker.
And
they weren't cooked.
There's a whole fiasco in the back over the timing of steaks, which we all know timing of cooking steaks, especially for a lot of people, is very hard to do. It's very important. It's all about the timing.
Timing's everything.
So Tyler's cooking shit. He's giving it to them. And then they're looking at it and they're like, we got to put it back in the oven to warm it up. But then they're overcooking it. So you get all these varying degrees of done steaks. They even cut in. They show some that are like done, like hamburger done.
Yeah.
So not good, Tyler.
Not for the cow folk who want some blood.
No way am I eating this steak.
Medium rare. You need to make it medium. Well, that's what the judge, the sauce boy, said.
Yeah.
Auguste Escoffier.
Yeah.
He said, you need to make it medium rare.
It's got to be I'm going around with a big knife. I'm cutting everyone's steak and looking at them. I'm getting right in there looking at it, being like, is this medium rare? And
got my thermos.
I got my thermos here filled with hot water.
Uh-huh.
And if you are off on any of these steaks, I'm pouring this hot water all
slop them up
over myself.
I'm going to slop myself up.
And the fourth course, right side up, Texas peach cake, peach salad, candy pecans. Yeah. Judges love it.
Easy to make something that you've made before.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I mean, listen, it works out for her.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, Tom is like, this is fine. Fine. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
But they should have done more.
Yeah.
And he gets really on this. The number of chefs they got back there, I expect more. More food. Yeah. I'm still hungry.
I want more. All that steak you guys cooked, now I got 3 little slices. Why wasn't the soup steak soup?
Why wasn't it? That's a point of view.
There it is, right? I should be on this show.
Back at Judge's table, well, in the stew room, Heather kind of throws Beverly under the bus. Also, Beverly tells Ed that she's like in love with him, basically, and that she thinks he's a celebrity. She had reservations to go to his restaurant and then bailed on it. And then he's like eating a chip, and he's like, yeah, okay, yeah. Nice to meet a fan. Yeah, I guess if you're ever around, I'll let you come into my restaurant.
Come back
or
in.
whatever. Sure. Cool. Just be cool, Beverly. Okay, just be cool.
Be cool, Bev.
On top, we got Heather, Chris, and Aisha. And then who wins but Heather and her cake.
Well, Ed's cake.
Ed's recipe. Yeah. Then on the bottom, we got Tyler, Whitney, and Ed.
Can we hear the tough talk of the week clip?
Let's please.
Tonight's challenge was a difficult one. Putting food out for 200 people. That doesn't mean that it needs to be boring. Whitney doing a potato gratin, pretty simple, straightforward dish, but you gave us raw potatoes. You're playing it safe and you still mess up. It doesn't look good. Ed, that dish could have been something special. The garnish was just really run-of-the-mill and ordinary. I mean, this is not Top Chef material. Ty, you took a lot of responsibility on yourself, but then you didn't carry through. We chose 16 chefs, and quite frankly, I'm starting to think maybe I chose the wrong chefs. Usually it's really difficult to send someone home, but tonight you really made it easy.
Dang.
Dad's upset.
Damn, dude. Normally, I hate this part of my job where I make Padma send someone home, but honestly, I like that this is happening because I'm so
Yeah.
pissed.
I'm surprised he didn't say, if I had it my way, I'd send all three of you home.
Yeah, I know. That feels like the amount of anger he's spewing here feels like an episode where he'd be like, "Let's send them all home."
Yeah.
She's like,
Like,
"Okay,
they're
all three." I'm
all
like, no,
garbage.
all of them, all the
All of
chefs.
them. All the chefs. Let's
I'm
get
going to
a
the
whole
stew
new-
room. I'm sending them all. Padma, you're coming with me. You're the one that has to do it.
Send them all home, get new chefs in here for next week, restart the season.
We're restarting the season. I'm so angry with my meal that I had. It was so gross and boring.
And we bring in those new chefs. They all have to go through the cooking thing again, and we pick 16 from them. And
Then we got to do
start over.
qualifiers.
Yeah. Then we do all the same challenges up to this point again. And let's go with that group. I think that group will be better.
We're going to reshoot. Everyone just forget what we did. We're going to reshoot it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so our friend Whitney gets eliminated.
Here we go.
It's really difficult to send someone home, but tonight you really made it easy.
Whitney, please pack your knives and go.
Okay, thank you. It was a great opportunity.
I think this is fun.
It was really hard being eliminated by Hugh Atchison. I feel disappointed that I didn't make it further in this competition.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing.
Yep.
She did get eliminated in front of her like protege or like her mentor. So that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. That's a little bit hard for her.
But it's also like you made the easiest dish ever.
Yeah. Something was going on with her.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't get the full story there. So there's, like we said, there's Last Chance Kitchen, but I don't know. We can't see it. So who knows what's going on there?
Who knows what's going on there? That's season 9, episode 6, Higher Stakes.
Mhm.
And I know why they put the word steaks in there. They're cooking steaks.
Listen,
Clever stuff.
I know where they are now.
Where are they?
So Whitney has a very nice website. She has a book called The Saltwater Table. It's about cooking using ingredients in the tropical South. I think it's in some part of Georgia that she went. Sounds like she like travels places and then like creates recipes based off of where she is. She's a newsletter for Family Meal. But yeah, it doesn't seem like she has a restaurant, but she like travels and writes and creates recipes. Very cool, great website. Chewy wasn't here last week telling you about Chewy. He's a private chef. He's a personal chef. He's a caterer, all in the Bay Area.
Wow.
He has a website on Squarespace, and say it with me, fans, it does not work.
Mm-hmm. Because he probably doesn't pay the domain.
The website is expired.
Yep.
He also has a link to an invite for a meal at Break Bread on Sunday in 2023.
Good for him.
So if you want to go to that, you could have.
I wish. I was busy then.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I couldn't make it anyway.
We were. So just so peek behind the glass, we were meant to go, and we were sitting at the same table as the Pack Your Knives guys, but we couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So,
but it's
just so
no
you
big
know.
deal. But we kept doing it, just us.
Yeah, we kept doing it. We're not gonna quit. That's the takeaway. So I guess we'll pack our knives proverbially and go.
This is fun. This is great, guys. You guys got something here. This is fun.
Nice.